Guys, I am super excited. This week we've had quite a treat. We've actually had three. This is our third live chat, and it's with Jason and Joanne Marino. So, Jason and Joanne, thank you so much for joining us here.
Hey,
Hi, thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Awesome, awesome. For those who haven't seen this before, we do these live chats. We bring some incredible photographers in, let them talk about some of the images, and just talk about how they use MagMod modifiers in some of their work, and and what they were thinking about, and what their creative process was, and all that good stuff. So we typically, guys, if you have any questions and you want to ask those questions, by all means, feel free to post them right here in the Facebook community. It's the MagMod community where you're watching us live, and I'll try to stay on top of those and answer or post some of those questions to Jason and Joanne. If you guys are watching this on YouTube after the live broadcast, feel free to join us in the MagMod community. We do these about once, sometimes twice a week, or like I said, this week is special because we're doing it for the third time. So again, thanks so much, Jason and Joanne. Tell us tell us where you guys are from.
We live just outside of Las Vegas on the Arizona side. It's a little town called Kingman, Arizona. And most people don't know about it. It's more just like a place where people stop to use the restroom if they're driving from Phoenix to Vegas. And yeah, that's
true story.
Don't ask how we ended up here, but
we're a rest stop.
Yeah, we're a rest stop. Yeah,
rest stop. No, that's awesome. You know what's interesting about that though is the fact that you guys are in Kingman, but you've been able to make a business for yourself, a very successful business at that. And I think a lot of photographers around the country, even around the world, struggle with being in smaller locations and saying, I don't have New York and LA. I don't have these clients with all this money and things like that. And you guys have defied the odds essentially and said, you know what, we can be in Kingman and we can shoot destination weddings and we can shoot even weddings in Kingman or wherever it be, I mean, and still be real successful. I think that's quite inspiring for all of us.
Yeah, I don't ask me how we did it, but thank you.
No.
Yeah, a lot of hard work and yeah, it takes a lot because you kind of are starting off behind the eight ball because you're in a place that isn't a high demand for, wedding services, especially if they're in the higher end, market and stuff like that. So you definitely have to work really hard to make sure people know who you are everywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's awesome. So, and by the way, before we even continue, where can people find more information about you guys if they want to go to your website, Facebook, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so you can check us out online at our website's imaginephotoaz.com. Our Instagram and Twitter handles are at imaginephotoaz. Our Facebook is just fb.com/imaginephotoaz. So there's plenty of, everything's Imagine Photo AZ to find us. We're pretty simple to track down.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
And now I will say one thing that has kind of made me take note of your work was the way you guys use light. And so ideal that we're in this conversation here, that we're going to talk about some MagMod modifiers and so forth. But tell me, I mean, what got you guys into using light? Was it something that just kind of came naturally? Did you guys go to school for it? Did you practice a lot? I mean, tell me kind of what got you into it. What made you decide rather than just shooting all natural light, you're going to incorporate some of these crazy, awesome, lighting scenarios and that kind of stuff?
Well, we're kind of sitting here laughing as you're asking the question because so it all goes back to me having a really hard time sleeping at night. And so I tend to wake up at 3, 4 in the morning and I'll just be laying in bed. And so probably back in like 2011, 2012, I was like really getting fascinated with some of the stuff I was seeing. And I was like, you know what, how are people making images like this? And it was like, oh, it's flash. And I'm like, oh, you can put a flash off a camera. Oh, and then, so it all started coming together. And I just wake up in the morning and lay there for 2 or 3 hours reading the strobist, and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. One morning we woke up and Jason leans in and says, you won't believe what I just learned.
I think it was
That's
high speed
awesome.
or something like that. Like I don't know why the camera won't go past 1/250th of a second when the flash is on it because it's not in high speed sync. And she's like, okay, I'm going back to bed.
That's awesome, though. No, that's cool.
We all have those moments where a light bulb goes off and it doesn't matter what level you're at, you'll have them forever. And so that's what's so fun about this career path.
That's so true. That's so true. And that's one of the things that's funny because people will say like, what makes a professional photographer? And I've never been able to figure that out because I feel like I'm always learning. It seems like every week, every month, I'm constantly learning from people like you guys, where it's, seeing how they take things and just take it to a new level. So with that, let's actually segue into speaking of new levels. You guys, you guys shot a photo that I saw recently. It was a panoramic photo. You guys were like way up on top of this hotel. I think it was the Cosmopolitan, if I'm not mistaken. Can we start with that photo? Maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about it and how it was created, what was going through your mind.
Yeah, it was crazy. Can you guys see it there now?
Yeah, I can see it. This photo is incredible.
Yeah, Joanne shot this, and we get a lot of couples that elope from other countries, and they'll come to Vegas and hire us to kind of just spend the day with them and hang out. And we the best part is we go eat tacos usually, so that's kind of the highlight of the day. But so this was the end of the night. We were like, we have to get a shot showing Las Vegas in all its glory. They got this huge suite up there, and
this is why they came to Vegas.
Yeah, it's why they were there.
Yeah.
And so
Sure.
to do this photo, it actually is a Brenneyer's method stitched photo that Joanne did. And she's actually standing on a piece of patio furniture on the 50th or 52nd floor of the hotel. And she's way up there. And she's right up by the ceiling, as a matter of fact. We look above the couple.
It probably wasn't the greatest idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to make sure people understood what you just said. Joanne is standing on a piece of patio furniture next to the rail on the 50th floor of the hotel. Joanne, you're crazy.
It's insane.
I was in the moment.
Yeah, that's why they invented fearless photographers for stuff like this. And so, you can see everything. I mean, the Paris hotel is obviously a big landmark there. You can see the new Link giant wheel we've got right behind it. And we wanted to do a stitch photo, but also with off-camera flash. So the trick to this shot is that there's just a big glass window along here, which Joanne was savvy enough to get the reflection in. But right here, there's this little dark spot, and I'm actually hiding inside of a glass door in their suite, firing a gridded and speared flash at them from in there. And that's how we were able to light them and then also stitch together the photograph.
Nice. Do you remember how many frames this was to create the Brennizer effect?
It actually wasn't that many.
Because I think you were using an 85, so it was probably only in like the 20s or something, versus a lot of them like 70 or 80 if you're using like 105 millimeter and you're really close. But yeah, it was probably about 20, 25 photographs.
That's rad.
The thing is, when you're doing these, you're not sure if they're going to work later. So you get home and you're like, please work.
Yeah.
So it came together nicely.
No, I get you. And so you said this was the grid and the mag sphere, the mag grid and mag sphere. Is that right?
Yep, exactly. And we use a grid for pretty much like every photo. There's a very few times we don't use it. We just love the way it controls the spill of the light, and just lets it feather off. So.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Can we see? Let's go into some more of these images where you're using that grid and just kind of talking, because I think that's one of the things that's really notable about you guys' work is just how you have these bright, vibrant colors, very controlled light, and I see it all the time in your photos that you guys post. Yeah, this happens to be one of my favorite photos of all time. I absolutely love this one.
This one was actually really hard to get. It was so hot and humid, and coming out of the hotel, I remember I couldn't even grab focus because there was so much moisture on the camera lens.
Yeah.
So it took a long time to set up, actually.
Yeah, we were in Guyana, South America, and it was in September. I mean, it's by the equator, so it's just, like 95% humidity, 90 degrees, and you're in this cold hotel, and you come out, and the thing just steams up constantly. So, yeah, I'm inside hiding to the left with a gridded flash, and then Joanne's standing out past the pool and photographing him. And we basically said, look, think of James Bond, in Skyfall, and just kind of, fix the cuff in the window. We've seen it a million times, but it's really architecturally kind of fascinating to the way the window, works and everything like that. And then being able to shoot through the window, we had to have a flash because you wouldn't have seen him otherwise, because it's, there's so much reflection and stuff going on outside.
Yeah, I think what really speaks to me about this picture is the composition of it, and just, everything, it just comes, there's so much symmetry, and then you got this, like the rule of thirds, you got these, I don't know, there's just so much going on. Like even the lines are just perfectly level. It looks like, is this like a boardroom? Is that where he's at? Because I see like chairs behind him just barely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah, it was like, yeah, we just kind of, when we go somewhere, we just kind of take over. It's like, oh, there's a room. Let's go inside and see if we can get in trouble.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. How did you guys communicate with each other? Like Joanne, how were you able to tell Jason where to put the light? Or Jason, did you just know kind of what you were looking for?
It's a lot of hand signals.
Usually with the middle finger, but
That's awesome. That's funny. I
lots
told you to
lots
go
of
in there.
these and this and this and
Yeah,
this and whatever you
yeah.
come up with.
That's
So
funny, man.
yeah, it's a
No,
lot of that. But we've been doing this stuff together for 8 years, so we kind of got a pretty good idea. And then when we're in a place where obviously our phones weren't working down there, but we'll even call each other if one of us is so far away that we'll get on the phone with each other and say, okay, I need this or that. But the cool thing is with the radios we use, she can dial up and down the power on a shot, and I know where the light needs to go because I kind of we read each other and know what we're looking for. So I have a pretty good idea where the light should be placed, and she can just dial up and down the power as need be. So it's really not all that difficult, I guess, once you've
Yeah,
been doing it for a while.
that's awesome. Raf Nagal, out in Toronto, he said, "Love this groom shot, guys, killer." And then
Oh,
Peter Mackey, Peter said, "Oh, these rock stars, what up, guys?" That's
I
my
love
Peter.
it.
That's my
That's
Peter Mackey
awesome.
voice. So
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
yeah. So let's continue. Like I said, if I see any questions pop in, I will say one kind of funny thing is occasionally we'll see a question come up and it'll be about a photo that we talked about, a few minutes back. And I think what's happening is sometimes people will join the conversation a little bit and they'll like catch it, 2 or 3 minutes delayed. So what guys, for those who are watching this, if you have a question, if we don't cover it, we'll go in there over the next 24 hours. And Jason, Joanne, if I could bother you guys maybe sometime this weekend as well, just kind of check the thread and I'm happy to answer any questions if I know the answer. And if not, Jason, Joanne, I can tag them and maybe you guys can help people out. So don't be don't be afraid of asking any questions, guys, if something comes up. By the way, Peter Mackey just told me that my voice impression was solid. So I'm glad to hear that.
I love it.
So,
That's
so
good
cool. Well,
stuff.
let's keep going. I love seeing all these
Yeah.
images. So we've hit a couple that I'm gonna let you choose. Let's see what else you got there.
Let's see.
Well, do you want to just put up the other one from
Yeah,
Guyana
let's like
right
just put
now?
up another one. This is another one for that same couple because we figured
Nice.
why not since we're already right there. This one, this is the reception, and what we like about this, and it's not even that there's some brilliant photo. It's just a good example of the way we like to light receptions a lot of the time. And so
Mhm.
we put the flashes on grids and on high stands, and we want to kind of point them toward the middle of the dance floor. And this is just a really cool example of how you can isolate your subjects even in the middle of a crate. There was 400 people at this wedding, and we were able to take photos that really isolate them and show them having a great time in the midst of all their friends and company.
Yeah. No, I love that because you're right. It's basically it almost feels like there's a lot going on around them, but you have this spotlight right on them. Um,
Yeah,
I love that. And so you guys, it was just it looks like there's one light behind, maybe on the floor or on a table that was kind of creating a
yeah, it
rim
was
light,
one.
and then you had one light in to the maybe camera
Yeah,
right. Is that sound about right?
yeah, exactly. And like they're on there was a one on a stand that we had low, and initially the people weren't supposed to be where they were at. We wanted to get these shots up from across the floor that had the light. Usually we have the light up high, but we wanted to have it low so we could get this cool shoot through effect with the light coming behind them. But it didn't work out, and we just kept flowing with it and
Yeah,
adjusted on the fly. And then yeah, we had a sphere and grid going, or I'm sorry, a grid going on the camera right, and yeah, just kind of got this shot. It's just an
very nice.
example of yeah, making a room look how you want it to look versus just letting it be what it is. So
Yeah. No, I think for me, receptions is one of my favorite times to shoot and practice lighting because you can just kind of have some fun. And if if they're dancing and just, screwing around, it's like you miss a shot. It's not that big a deal. Your flash lighting is awkward and unflattering. You just toss it away and no big deal. So like my favorite
yeah,
time, I always call it my science experiment. Like that's where I get to just play and experiment and have fun. So
yeah,
love
for
it, dude.
sure. Oops, what did I do there? So, and then let's see.
There's one more.
There's one more from the same thing, and this shot kind of is. It's a culmination. It's one of the things that Joanne and I working together. One of the benefits is that one of us can go off and do a little bit of exploring during a reception and come up with some ideas for night shots. We love doing night shots, and I'm like, hey, I'll cover the reception. Joe snuck out for 15 minutes and went walking around to compose and come up with a really cool shot. And then we come back to the couple and we say, hey, we've got this great idea for a photo. It's going to take 2 minutes out of your evening. You mind doing it? And they're like, sure. So they pop out of their party and come down. And so Joanne goes outside, lays on the far end of this huge pool they have, and this is probably 100 feet away. And we put a sphere and faced it towards the wall that was behind where they're sitting. That's actually the back of a bar. There's a bar on the other side. And so we just wanted to create enough light on that wall that you would see them, silhouetted and cut out in the shot there. And just a lot of symmetry, and there's a ton of color and things going on like that. And I mean, the place was unbelievable. If you look at those incredible chandeliers they have and everything, and all the colors are, blues and oranges and lots of like movie colors in there.
You know what though? It is an unbelievable place, but the way you guys captured it is more unbelievable. I mean, like I'm shaking my head just looking at it, going, "This is an incredible shot." I'm wondering, did you guys? You said you had the mag sphere behind them. Did you? Is that the color of the wood, kind of that red wood, or did you use some kind of gel back there? Okay, that was the color of the wood.
No, it's just the color of the wood, and there's a lamp in the middle too. So there's a lot of bright light right in the middle, and that's
Gotcha.
actually there's a lamp there that's split by that window frame. But we just wanted to brighten up the colors in the wood a little bit. But the lamp itself actually kind of, took over in the middle there. But it's still kind of cool. And it puts a little bit of light on their faces where if you were to zoom the photo in really tight, you can, you can kind of actually see some details in their faces and stuff.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, it's kind of a fun little photograph.
That's so solid. Hey, I love it. Jared and Zeno both have said amazing work. And then we got a question from Leah. She says, sexy light from sexy Joanne and Jason. So there's they're calling you sexy. She says, weird question maybe, but how do you carry your flashes and modifiers all day? And do you also wear a holster system? Ooh.
Well, we both just wear hold fast dual straps. And I actually have some of those little plastic clips that the flash can lock onto, and you can hang them on yourself. But it's gotten to the point where we just carry a small a backpack, or I have my hold fast Romographer bag. And so we'll just actually, or even sometimes I'll stuff one in my back pocket, but we only carry a couple of them with us all day now. And then we have our main bag. We'll have a bunch of other gear with it. We keep that kind of just nearby to us whenever we're moving around.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Do you guys find that you're traveling? I mean, I talked about in the beginning, like destination weddings. So are you guys doing a handful of destination weddings every year?
Yeah, I mean, every wedding we have to go somewhere. So even if it's just driving, but whether it's going to LA or Phoenix or Vegas or flying, like last year we were in Tahoe and we were, we went all over the place. The year before that we were, out of the country a bunch. We went to Mexico a lot last year too. And yeah, traveling with the MagMod gear is probably the best part because you can shove it
easy.
Yeah, you can put it in your shoe, you can stuff it in a shoe if you need to or whatever. And we're able to travel with several spheres, several grids, gels, everything. And I mean, it takes up just this tiny little space in our entire gear bag. So, and it's really, really actually super convenient that way. So
that was when I first started using MagMod myself. I was at a destination wedding, and it was like I never wanted to bring big lights to a destination again. So I went over to MagMod, and then I had to adapt to basically make sure I felt comfortable using smaller modifiers in weddings, even at home. But eventually I got to that point where I was like, it just makes sense for me. It makes sense to be able to move fast and, be able to light creatively. So, hey, before we move on to the next photo, Vivian had one more question about this one. She said, how do you do that blue foreground? I'm going to guess that was water. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually the pool. And so just adjusting the white balance later in Lightroom. We just shoot the auto white balance and then go in and use saturation and different brushes and tools to adjust the colors to exactly where we want them. And that's what the color looks like. We just intensified it a bit so it was a little more over the top, but that's pretty much what it looked like. Now, one thing you could do, Vivian, if you wanted to try to capture this in camera, is go ahead and we would just gel the couple super orange, and then we would have to pull them back down to look like human again, which would take the water and make it even more blue. So that's a trick you could do using a gel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny. Who is this? Oh, is this Ike? Ike is liking this like crazy. He's, I see a bunch of these likes popping up. I'm like, what's going on? And I realize it's Ike. Ike or Tasha, I can't tell. But yeah, no, I've done that before. I think the biggest thing that that stands out with this photograph, and you know, in the last couple of chats I've had with people, we've mentioned this as well. And so for those who have seen a few of these, you're going to hear this again. But it's that contrast of warmth and coolness, you know. And people, when they think of contrast, they think of light, like the dark to light and so forth. But there's all kinds of contrast, whether it be color contrast like this, you know, where you got the warmth and the coolness. You got uh, oh, what's that?
You do textural contrast,
Yeah,
even, you know.
yeah. Or I mean, even like concepts, like with, you know, you might have like an old grandma's hand with a baby's hand. You know, I mean, the contrast, like you can find contrast in so many different ways. Contextual contrast, yeah. So that's what I love about this shot is you got that contrast, but then you have enough detail on that couple to make them really stand out. So Joanne, you shot this photo, is that right?
Yes.
So all the good photos she shot, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. There's a pattern here. If you see a good photo, Joanne took it. If you see a bad photo, I took it.
So we're going to talk about a bunch of Joanne's photos. Just kidding.
That's how it kind of works. I mean, she's been a photographer for 20 years. I've been a photographer. I'm still not a photographer. I've been playing photographer on TV for about 7 years or so, and she's actually been doing it for 20. So there's quite a difference in skill set there. But I'm trying to keep up. So
that's funny, dude.
yeah.
Good deal.
And we're talking about the color contrast. Joe and I are super inspired by lots of TV shows like House of Cards and stuff like that. And so we get inspired by the lighting that we see from cinematographers and grips on these incredible shows. So that's where a lot of this comes from is we see movies and TV and we go, oh, we want to make our photos look like that. So we try to make a movie out of every portrait, essentially, you know.
You know, it's funny you say that. I just saw a movie last night or the night before last, I guess it was. I took my mom and we went to go see La La Land. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. It's like a Broadway musical, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone kind of movie. But anyhow, but I took her to it because she loves Broadway musicals. That was one thing that we used to do a lot together previously, and I thought she would enjoy that movie. But I was inspired by the lighting they did in that movie. They did a lot of like I mean, it was film, so obviously it was more constant lights or film lights, but they would do a lot of snoot type lighting where, you know, you would have one person and the whole environment would be lit up, and then all of a sudden the light would close down and it would just be that one person, everything else was dark. And I was thinking that I was like, this is a great way for photographers to look at and like you said, get inspiration to see, you know, do I want the whole room lit up or do I want just the small area lit up? So that's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, let's see what else we got.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I don't really know how to get back to where I was seeing. Here we go.
Or I'd say if you hit L, you can turn off the lights there, and then Lightroom will show your film strip on the bottom.
All good. This is fun. This is one I took.
Jason's like, give me credit.
Yeah, this is the first one I believe I took the whole time. So, yeah, for a little while there, about once a year or something, we would take this miniature fish tank we have, and we just put a black towel behind it. We clamped it onto the top. This fish tank's only probably like 8 inches by 12 inches, and put a gridded flash cross-firing right up against the tank on either end. And then Joe would just drop the rings in about 5 or 6 times, or sometimes 15 times, and we would, time it and get the shot. And so this is probably the last time we did it. It was probably about, probably a year and a half ago or something. And people just love it. It's a neat thing. And then even at the bottom, you can see a little bit of the light and bubbles that are on the bottom surface of the fish tank there. You can picking up a little bit of light. So it's kind of fun.
This is ridiculous, dude. This would especially be cool. I don't know what the theme of the wedding was, but like if there was a theme like by an ocean or, you know, people like to scuba dive, I don't know, just something water theme, like that would even stand out even more. But so you guys actually brought your fish tank with you, is that right?
Yeah, we bought a little miniature fish tank. It's like this big, and bought it literally for this purpose. And it's sitting in my garage right now. We haven't used it in a little while, but it's just sitting out there. And yeah, every once in a while we're like, hey, we should grab the fish tank and try to do the water ring shot. And, people think we're insane. You should see the looks we get at the reception when we're doing this. And then they see the photo later, they're like, oh my gosh, it's a trip. So
So tell us one more time. You had two flashes on either side of the fish tank firing across.
Yeah, one on each side, so two total. They're just in a crossfire pattern with a grid on them, just shooting right across the tank. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Matt Gruber says you make me want to quit. and then Joe D'Antone says he did that with his and his wife's rings a while back, and he said it's such a pain to get it right. So you guys apparently nailed it.
It's not easy. You're soaked up to your middle of your arm, and you're at a wedding, and you're dropping your hand back into a tank, and then you don't like the way the rings fall, and then the gal's ring usually is really heavy with the diamond, and it flips upside down. Yeah. So it takes several takes, and finally you'll get it right, and you're like, yes. And you have to manually focus because you can't. There's no time to focus on these as they're falling through the dark water. So you actually have to. Joanne holds your hand in the tank, and I focus on that, and then she just has to make sure to drop the rings back in a similar spot.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So what would, for those people who are getting, maybe they're not so familiar with what grids do, what would be the purpose of using a mag grid here versus just shooting bare flash? Like what?
Well, I want to kill any kind of ambient light around it. So, because I want these rings completely isolated. If I just put a flash on there, you'd have reflections. A bare flash would have reflections all over the glass on the inside. So it would have all these spots, and any kind of imperfections in the glass would be showing. And it would also light up the towel. So you'd be able to see the black towel that I have wrapped around the back. You'd see all the texture in the towel and everything else. So it's really helpful to be able to just kill all the ambient light and only let light go where you want it specifically.
Yeah. Awesome. One person pointed out Amazon probably has a run on 8-inch fish tanks now. So.
Well, I hope they're using our affiliate link from our website.
Hey, well, tell people how they can find it. If you have stuff, in fact, not just affiliate links in general, but just with regards to like gear and things like that, where can they find more information about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we actually on our site, we have a section over at imaginephotoaz.com. There's a section that says for photographers. And on there, we keep information over any workshops or appearances we're making. And also we have a list of all of our gear that we use with links back to, the flashes, even the hold fast straps we like to use and stuff like that, the camera bodies, everything else. So, people want to see what we use the tools we use, they're welcome to go to the site and take a look. And if they want to, talk to us about mentoring and workshops and things like that, we are happy to discuss those things as well.
Awesome. Very cool. So go check that out, guys. ImaginePhotoAZ.com. And then it says for photographers. Is that what the link says?
Yeah, there's a link that says for photographers. Yep.
Awesome. So before we move on to the next shot, Erica just had a question here. She says, do the rings hit pretty hard on the bottom of the tank? So when you drop those in, does it kind of settles in the water a little bit, does it not? I mean, not settles, but kind of slows down.
Yeah, there's drag from the water. So they just kind of fall down like when you drop a penny into a fish tank, it just kind of floats and flutters down to the bottom, and there's a little clink on the bottom, and that's that. So, and we don't drop them that high. We actually set, Joanne's hand was probably right there in the water. Yeah,
that makes sense. Very cool. Works. Awesome. Well, let's check out some more photos if you guys still have some time.
Yeah. Here's just some punk rock stuff we do. Let's see. This is just Neon Museum in Las Vegas. Couple from she's from the UK, and he was working over in Southeast Asia or something like that, Malaysia, I think. And they came to the States so they could do an elopement. Again, they contacted us, and she has these classic, like, amazing good looks, and he's like a total stud. He got a red tuxedo put together for their elopement, and they're just cool people. We're like, you know what? Let's just do this really kind of pop art, crazy looking portrait where it's got a lot of attitude, and that's what we did.
That's so awesome. And I love, it looks like you guys shot with a strong enough flash that you're able to darken down the sky as well. Probably used a higher aperture, maybe something like, I don't know, f8 or something. I'm not sure exactly what you used, but it looks like you're able to darken down the ambient, which I think is a lost art these days. Where photographers just kind of blow out those skies, including myself. I mean, sometimes when I'm just shooting natural light, I just let it go. But that's what really, to me, makes this photograph is the balance of, that blue sky up there. It's awesome.
That's a big thing for us is we love knocking down ambient. That's like I guess almost it's almost like to the point where if you see a photo and it looks like that, you can figure we us or a few other people might have done it because it's just kind of our thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
definitely become our
it's solid. I think there's one
yeah.
other thing I want to point out about this shot real quick, Jason and Joanne, is that for those who are learning photography in general, I check out, always be aware of just the lines. And like for me on this one, just that yellow sloping arrow that kind of comes down, and you guys might have even done this subconsciously or consciously. I don't know which way you did it, but either way, it's like as photographers, we kind of learn to, use those lines and have all that direction point to where our subjects are or where we want the eyes to be. And you did it fantastically here. So I don't even
Yeah,
know if
thanks. I think
fantastic.
we probably did. We shot the Neon Museum quite a bit, and if I remember correctly, I think we wanted the arrow right there. And I look at it now and think of things I would have done differently, of course, because you get better. This was a little while back. It's like in 2015, I think. So you go, you know what? I would have moved them a little bit differently, so that way it would have pointed at them better. So I'd probably put them off on the left side a little more, so the arrow is pointing at them, and you can see the whole arrow versus where they're at now. But it's hindsight's 2020.
Oh, but I love it, man. I love it. Now, the only thing that I'm curious about, I'm not sure if anyone asked this yet or not, but I'm curious. It looks like there's kind of a double shadow on the ground. But I don't see it on their face though. Was there two flashes possibly used in the shot, like to make it even stronger power? Or?
It, it, I don't remember, but it looks like there was, and it might have been because it's so bright out. We might have had double sphered flashes on because we do have a stand that holds three of them, and we might have brought that and put two of them on there. But I can't,
I thought it was only one.
I don't know, but there's obviously two light sources, so it's hard to say, but I imagine it was. So
well, and because your son was camera left, right? Isn't the sun hitting that red thing off to the side there?
Yep. So
okay,
I'm sure it was. We put them in the shade, but I imagine we had like two spheres because that was I was using that quite a bit. There might even have been three the more I look at this, but we have a triple head holder and we might have had two or three spheres on that. So, and
nice.
to overpower the ambient, it probably required it at the time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Did you do any Photoshop on this work to take a light stand out, or was your light stand out of the frame?
No, it was just out of the frame. It was off because they're only a few feet from the edge of it, so it was just off probably about 6-7 feet away. Yeah. So
yeah, very cool. Love that shot, man.
Thanks, man.
What else you got? I want to keep learning. Let's keep this going.
Here, let's get back to Joanne's pictures. so yeah, do you want me to? Anyway, Joanne doesn't like to talk. I'll talk all day. This couple came to New York again. Came to Las Vegas, and this one here, just wanted a real natural kind of pretty softer light. We didn't do the big heavy ratio of flash to ambient on this. It was more a balanced mix, and just wanted to just give them a little bit of light. And then she also used little miniature LEDs and put them right up against the glass to create the the bokeyed out light artifacts in the foreground you see. And we shoot in Vegas a lot, so just trying to come up with different ways to shoot the same or similar areas is kind of the point here. And she's just beautiful. She has like this Alicia Keys vibe. Her hair is like moving in the wind. It's just got a lot of movement, even though they're standing still there. And just is adding some interest with a little bit of flash and those layered lights, those little LED lights, just kind of makes it for a little more interesting portrait than you normally see, I guess.
So there was a flash used on this shot then in front?
Yeah. And I was holding it on a
very high power though.
Yeah, I was holding it on we have a monopod that we do if we're kind of running and gunning, and we'll just throw a grid sphere on it, and I'll hold that up, and I just kind of held it directly above them, in forward slightly, so you can see the highlights on her nose and cheeks and shoulders and collarbone and stuff there, where the light was hitting, and the top of his head and stuff. So just create a little bit of light to create some depth and stuff.
Because your balance of flash and ambient here is awesome, and it's a complete contrast from the last photo we saw, which was that very punchy, vibrant colors, which is amazing. And I think it's a great example to show people how you can use flash to be very dynamic and contrast and make it look flashy. I know that word is used, but I don't know if it's used the right way. But whereas this image is, you're basically just balancing that flash and ambient where it looks very natural. Somebody looking at this would think that was just natural lit, but incredible shot.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, good job, Joanne.
Thanks.
This is actually that same couple. I think I actually shot this one. So
you did that one.
Did I do this one? Okay. And so, yeah, here I was just like, I mean, we've shot in these spots a few times. I'm like, let's just basically make it to where the reflection is the main part of the photograph with them upside down and just have a little bit of their feet. And so we actually have a flash behind them, and you can see it rim lighting them and lighting the ground a bit and stuff. Yeah, that one's on a stand, probably 10, 15 feet back. And might even had a blue, like a half blue gel on it or something like that. And then we have a quarter CTO off camera right that Joanne's lighting them with, and it's almost at like 180 or 90 degrees to them, so you can see the real heavy shadows just to create a lot of drama where only about half their face is lit.
Yeah, I noticed that in a few of your other shots, like the Vegas shot where you guys have the split lighting. Do you find yourselves doing a lot of that kind of hard split lighting? Half the face kind of lit. It's kind of very moody. Almost like.
Yeah, we do it. We have to be careful not to you don't want to make, I don't know, you can't do it too often because it looks really hard on women. So unless their face, you don't want a woman to, they don't like to see real hard shadow lines and, it makes all that stuff show up. So, I use it, it's more masculine, and I tend to use it on guys a lot. But occasionally I just feel like if people are just being badasses, then let's give them some badass lighting,
Yeah. I think that's kind of part of your vibe that you guys kick off, though. It's kind of like, hey, we're going to take you out. We're going to go have some fun in Vegas or wherever it be, and really create some badass shots like that. It seems to, I don't know if that's one of your key words, but it seems like
pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Speaking of badass shots, Michelle, real quick, she said, talking about your natural light one, or I should say the one that looked more natural light, the best way to describe it. Yeah, she said she really liked that one. That was a gorgeous shot. So awesome. Thanks, Michelle, for your comment.
I'm sure Joanne's quite pleased with herself. This was, did I get this shot?
You did.
Oh, I got to do this one. Yay. So, we have fun because we're always competing, kind of for cool shots. That makes it kind of fun. So we actually have 3 different flashes going here. There's one right at the top of the car, or not the top, on the driver's side. There's one behind and one in front, and all 3 are gridded, and we put the one in front so it would hit the body but also light their faces. And one in back, just so, because we figured the car was kind of just disappearing if we only had the one light. So we wanted to make sure you could see the back edge of the car and also that door and mirror across the top edge. So then I climbed up on top of an old fire escape in an old building, and this car just parked in a really old alley right in the town, and held the camera out a bit of a way on I put the D750 onto a monopod and extended it out, and then we fired it with a phone because it has the Wi-Fi built in.
So, jeez, man.
Yeah, I just kind of held it out there and fired it with the phone, and got the shot, and we got it pretty quick, which is cool because they were getting ready. They were literally going to leave right after this, and then we don't have the shot in here, but he actually did a full blown smoky Corvette burnout when he left the reception right in the middle of the street. So that was kind of cool.
Nice. So you actually, you had your camera on a monopod on the fire escape, extending it out over the top of the car, and then just shot it with your phone. Did I hear that right?
Right. So I could see it. You can get live view on the phone. You can focus and then compose it and shoot it from the phone.
Wow, that's awesome, man. You're going above and beyond there.
Yeah, literally above. Yeah, I get scared when we do that though, because we did another shot like that, and our friend Megan helped us out. We were down in Orange County, and we held the camera out over top of an Aston Martin limited edition special car. It was like a Louis Vuitton edition Aston Martin or something. And I mean, when you got a $250,000 car underneath your camera, you're kind of nervous.
Well, hoping it doesn't drop.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, you guys are making me nervous just thinking about that.
Yeah, it's a little nerve wracking. So that was fun though. And then,
Vivian mentioned she loved that one as well. She says, "Wow." I should start reading these in the voice of the person. So
She said, "Wow."
Wow. Love this one. Actually, if I do that, nobody's going to comment anymore.
Right. So this one is actually a real moment. This wasn't a posed photo. The bride and groom told us how important it was to them to exchange letters before their ceremony, but also not see each other. Well, they were getting married at the beach at a little park, and there was nowhere for them to get ready there. So they had to get ready at their hotel and then drive separately to the beach. So when we got there, we found this lower lobby. It seemed like a good spot. And we said, okay, well, look, there's back-to-back sofas. Let's set them up on these. And what we'll do is have him come sit down, then she can walk in kind of behind him and sit down. That way they won't see each other's faces. They can exchange letters over the sofa by handing their arms behind each other. And what we did was we just put a gridded flash in front of each one of them about 6 or 8 feet away and just let the moment happen. And so as we were snapping through, he reached up to wipe a tear away as he was reading his letter and, got this shot. And it just was a great moment.
It really is. And the lighting, the fact that you guys had basically, a light on each of them, what's nice about it is that light goes past them and it will hit, like, for example, the back of her hair and the back of his head and gives them that separation as well. Just a real nice kind of a cross lighting. Perfect shot.
Yeah. I love this photo. It's fun.
Have you guys submitted this to any contests like Fearless or anything?
Yeah, I think you actually won an award for this.
Oh, I don't even remember. Yeah, we haven't been doing awards much lately. Kind of just, we used to be all about it, and I was like, let's just be all about, the clients. So we kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, nothing against awards, but we love awards, but we just want to kind of focus on our clients and stuff at this point. So,
well, and I think it's such a unique image. Like, it's such a cool moment that I just figure it had to be one of those shots. If I were judging a contest and saw this, I'd be like, oh, that right there is, you can't plan that kind of stuff. I mean, you can plan the lighting, which is what you guys did. And also I love how you opened your aperture or your shutter just enough, probably your shutter speed just enough to bring in some of that ambient from outside where it complements the scene, but it doesn't overpower it. So.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of reversed. We actually shot this. We shot it for the flash, but we actually had to dodge and burn to bring that down. So we were just really careful not to overexpose the outside because it was the middle of the day, so that we could actually back enough to be able to make them the focus. Because it would have been really distracting if those windows were full blown, bright. So
yeah, very cool, man. Love it. Yeah, a couple other comments coming in are love the thought process, and then that was from Parma Veer, looks like. And then Molly said, just saw this one on Art of the Second Shot. Amazing. With the hands in the air.
I forgot we're doing an Instagram. We're doing an Instagram takeover for them, and we've been doing it all
right
week.
On.
And yeah, we're over at on their Instagram page at Art of the Second Shot, and we just I think we just posted this one this morning actually. So we're there until Sunday, I think, or tomorrow is our last day doing that. We're posting a few photos a day, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, you guys should check it out. So
that's awesome. So at the Art of the Second Shot.
I think it's the Art of the Second Shot.
Okay.
So,
I know that's Easton Reynolds from Lou Ray Photography. Easton Allura, that's kind of their side project, I guess you could say, in addition to the photography, and they've been killing it with that. So if you guys check out their stuff, Easton's in the group a lot, in the MagMod community a lot as well. In fact, gosh, I think this is my 9th interview, and if I'm not mistaken, I had them on. I hope I'm not lying.
Yeah, well, if you haven't, you better.
It's so weird. For some reason, I'm trying to remember all the different people, but anyhow, I know I saw Easton at WPPI, so I'm trying to decide if I'm confusing with that or not. But anyhow, so cool stuff, Jason. Love this guy. So let's see. I saw a few more images in there. Could you mind if can I steal a few more minutes out of you guys to talk about a couple more of these things?
What do you think you want to see?
Well, let's just. It looks like we've seen most on the top row.
I think there's a few.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, another one of mine. All right. I had a couple in here. So this was down in Palm Springs, and I was actually second shooting for my good friend, and we went ahead, and my friend Aspen, she's incredible, Aspen Zettel, and she's out of Canada. She lives up by Edmonton, and so this couple was actually Canadian as well. Then she asked me to come second shoot with her, and I love second shooting because it gives you so much freedom to just kind of really just be creative. And so the groom here was in the bathroom getting ready. I actually went out and climbed through some bushes and cactuses and got outside the window and after putting a flash on him, camera right there, you can see. And I just climbed out and took a picture of the window and made sure to get the sky and the trees in the window, but also get him in the darker spot down below. And the dark spot's created by a wall that's being reflected behind me. So since there's no light on the wall, it creates that dark area that I can put him in and then light him with flash. So it's kind of a confusing concept, but essentially I'm outside a window shooting into it, but also getting what's behind me reflected in the glass.
It's like a reflection of a reflection of a reflection.
Yeah. There's two reflections in here because you've got the window itself reflecting the outside, but then he's looking in a mirror and there's a reflection there. So yeah, there's a lot going on, I guess. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you have one flash and it was camera right.
Yep.
And you said this was a mag grid as well?
Yeah, a grid and a sphere on this.
Nice. Any gels that you used here?
I actually might have had a CTO on it because I got the sky blue, so I probably did put a CTO on that so I could bring in all the color out of the sky. So it was a year ago, so I'm kind of spacing it, but I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
No. And what about when you're doing these kinds of reflection shots? How about focusing? Are you able to focus, autofocus? Or are you manually focusing this?
I manually focus stuff like this because the glass usually makes the focus miss. So, and with the D750 camera body, it has like that nice tilt screen on it. So I can literally just tilt the screen to where I'm at and then zoom in and just manually focus it and hit the shutter. And it makes it work really, it's nice and quick and easy. If you try to autofocus the glass, it usually misses. So it worked out pretty well.
Nice. I love that, man. Yeah. There's so much going on in that shot. And again, you got that contrast of those colors, the warmth and the coolness.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. And then let's see. This one we just did, towards the end of last year, and it
was basically just in the parking lot.
Yeah, the parking lot at the Ritz it's called the Biltmore, down in Phoenix. You shot this, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we used Atmosphere Aerosol. Our friends over at Atmosphere Aerosol, they make really cool products. It's basically a spray can of, it has no smell or anything like that. You can just spray fog right in the air and use fog, just have it in a can, and it works out really nice. So we use that a lot. And we just backlit it with a orange creative gel, and that was that. It was basically that simple.
It's so simple and easy, but yeah, it's such a cool shot. And again, I bet the couple was probably freaking out. If you show them something like this on the back of the camera, they're just like, what? Like their mind's blown,
Yeah, they don't have a clue what we're doing. They're like, what kind of wizardry are you guys up to,
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I will say one caveat to that Atmosphere Aerosol, guys, if you're using it outside, just know if there's any bit of wind, by the time you spray it, if you go back and grab your camera, it's too late. Like, I don't know, did you have one of you guys crouched down below them spraying that at the time?
Yeah, Joanne shot the photo, and I was literally just standing right here off to the side behind them, just behind the light. So I just stepped in and just sprayed a big giant circle of it, and it's like go.
Yeah, so, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, outside you have that very short time frame, but inside, as long as your AC is off, you can spray it and and let it linger for a minute or two. So
absolutely,
cool stuff.
Yeah, easy shot. Do you want to go over any more? Or
Let's hit those last three there that looks like we're kind of going down. I don't think I'm trying to say it's real small, but if you don't mind, can we take a few more minutes and hit those real quick?
Yeah, sure. This is another one of Joanne's photos. We have there's a grid that you can actually see visible that's over everyone's heads in the background. It's up at about 8 or 9 feet. And then she used, what did you use on this to create all that? Was that LEDs?
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
No.
Oh, okay. She put her LEDs, like little miniature LEDs, up against the lens again, just to create some strange kind of highlights and stuff going on. And then they have
a light. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a few different grids in the room, and then that's them having their first dance, and just kind of made it a little bit more of a trippy looking photo than your basic first dance photo. So
that's awesome, you guys. I love that, Joanne, you're using those little LEDs to kind of create something different. And I bet everybody in the room is looking at you as you're kind of kneeled down, putting little lights in front of your lens, shooting. They're all wondering like, wait, yeah. They're all like, who is this person? What is she doing? And then they see photos like this and they go, oh yeah, the lighting was so cool in that room. They don't realize that you're the one who did all that,
Yeah. Yeah. Then she turns around. She's like, "Who's the idiot now?"
Exactly. No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll shoot through like a champagne glass. I don't have my lights.
Yeah, just whatever you can use to play with.
Isn't that funny though? I've done that where there's centerpieces and there'll be like little jewels hanging down or whatever, and like I'll get right up next to somebody's table and I'm like leaning through it, and you know they're thinking that we're just shooting like the jewels on the centerpiece, and they're probably going like, don't you see there's a first dance happening right now? Like, why aren't you photographing that? You know, they don't realize that we're actually just shooting through that stuff. I almost feel like I have to shoot it and show it to them real quick just so they know what I'm doing, you know. But
right. Yeah, it's the same as like when Uncle Bob tells you that you've got your flash facing backwards on your camera when you're inside shooting stuff. It's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's interesting because when people are learning these concepts, whether it be using these LEDs or any of that kind of stuff, they tend to look at us and go like, what are you doing? And then it's funny because they'll copy the action without knowing what it does. Like, for example, I mean, just the flash thing. I one time had a guy, I was shooting down the NFL sideline. It was a Cardinals game. And there was a guy on the sideline shooting with a flash. And he had, I won't mention the name, but let's just say it was a competitor's light sphere on top of the flash, a big plastic bulky one. And but he was using it on the sideline. I thought it was so interesting because his flash was going up, but it was going all over the place in the stadium, where it's not going to bounce, it's not going to do anything. And I'm like, and I think that's the biggest thing that there's one thing I could tell people if they're learning flash and stuff is don't just see other people do stuff, learn what it does. Because then once you know what it's doing, then you'll understand, oh, okay, I've seen photographers do that, but they only do that in a room that's small where that light's bouncing everywhere. They're not going to do it in a large stadium where the light, you know what I mean? So we all make mistakes and we all learn and grow, but rather than just copying what they're doing, learn why they're doing it, and then you'll grow even further and a lot quicker. So
right.
That's my 2 cents. Now I can die knowing that I give my advice away.
Yeah, and this is our friends Bo and Veronica, and they're actually really good photographers. They live out in Orange County, and we did family photos for them the other day when we were out in the Los Angeles area. And we're downtown, like off of Skid Row in downtown LA right here. And, we just wanted to do something again like that movie look. And, they're really cool people, good looking people, have a cool vibe. And so we put a gridded flash behind them, and we had a half CTO gel and sphere and grid in front, camera right. And just wanted to get a really intimate kind of sexy portrait of them. And that's kind of what we came up with here.
That's awesome. I love it. If I ever get family photos, I'll have to remember if we decide on going to Skid Row, I'll call you guys up.
Well, and the angle is important because you get rid of all of the busyness that's going on below. We basically put them in the trees that are in the background, so we could be in a nice park. You just never know.
There could have been a homeless person laying down there next to them.
Yeah. Skid Row is popular for that, but you're right though, Jason. You create your own little world, right? Depending on how you frame it and light it, like you really do. In fact, don't you guys have another image? I think I saw the same family. Is that not right? Is it the same place? Is that Skid Row as well?
This is it's the Arts District, which butts right up to Skid Row, so it's all the same basically. There's still plenty of crack for everybody. So, and this one it was a sphere, and I think actually this one we didn't use a grid. We just used a sphere and a half CTO. And Joanne was up on top of a 2 or 3 story parking garage across the street, and you see the leaves that are in the top left corner of the frame there. She really leaned out up to this tree so she could create all the layers. And then you can see as the tree goes up and away, the branches go out, and then it just turns into like, the leaves aren't as blurry because they're getting further away. And then we've got the family down there. So it kind of just brings you over to the family, and they're in that all those beautiful colors, and just down there looking cool,
That's awesome. And you said this was a mag sphere, and so did you guys Photoshop this one out? Was there a stand close by then?
Yeah, it was probably about 8 feet away. We had a sphere with a half CTO gel, and we just Photoshopped it out, cloned it out real quick. So
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hey, I know you guys had picked out a few images, so I don't expect to have one here to show us, but Parmavir had asked if you guys have any examples of using a mag beam. That might be something when you guys go through the thread, maybe if you have, I don't know if you've had a chance to use it.
Oh yeah.
But maybe you can respond to her there. I didn't want her to feel like we missed her question. So, guys, this has been completely inspiring. I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the industry because I get to talk to amazing people like you guys and learn from you guys and just spend 45 minutes sitting here and going through some of your photos, and it really is inspiring for me. So I super appreciate you guys doing this.
Oh, we appreciate it. We appreciate everything you guys do at MagMod, and it's nice to have such great support and friends in the industry that give us tools and the help that we need to create the stuff we do. Because honestly, we wouldn't be able to create and shape light the way we do without you guys, and then having your friendship and just support you give and the community that you foster with the group online and everything. So you guys are all really special people to us and special to this community, and we have much love for all you guys for sure. So.
Hey, we appreciate that. We really appreciate that. It was great looking at Joanne's photos today.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it too. I learned a lot, I feel like. So.
Awesome. Well, hey, Jason and Joanne, you guys know that I'm in Phoenix as well. So if you guys ever make it out this way, let's grab some lunch. I always love seeing you guys. So.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take care. You guys have a great afternoon, okay? Good weekend.